Am I still there? Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. I love wireless things.
All right.
Wireless is the way to go. Okay. The steps we take. Awesome. So the path to self-discovery brings us closer to our authentic expression, moving us from good to great to grand. That's what we're talking about today. The steps from good to great to grand. But I thought it was missing a step. Because we're in a teaching of oneness, right? From good to great to grand to God. Because everything that I am, God is. Everything that I am. And the more we get to discover about ourselves, our unique and authentic expression, the more we are tuned in to that divine and holy, powerful presence that is backing absolutely everything. So good to great, I mean, these are the steps we take to self-actualization. We start out by finding that we find a spiritual practice called spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, and then we start praying for parking spots, like we're the big kid on campus, right? Oh, I got rockstar parking 3 days in a row. I am doing good. I am doing good. Oh, someone just paid for my coffee out front through the drive-thru before me. Oh, my life is getting good. This treatment stuff works. So we know how to get from good to great. We show up with one another and we participate and engage in this beautiful expression of our life. And the affirmation they gave, so these are the notes from CSL, that Centers for Spiritual Living has this theme, annual theme, right? That's what we're working through. And they gave me notes, and I always go, oh, you guys are thinking so small. You guys are thinking so small, good to great to grand. You're missing a step. And so the steps are, we want to set good intentions. We want to align our thoughts, and we want to take our first steps. We want to be in the activity. But there's a first step before any of that. And that's the first step is willingness. We forget. We have to be willing to change. We have to be willing to have a new perspective. We have to be willing to be open to love. We have to be willing to receive that inheritance that is divine. We have to be willing. So the process of self-actualization, if you do your work, then you will succeed. If you take the first step, then the second one will be made clear. We don't have to see the whole picture. We just have to see what's in front of us. And are we willing to change that first step? I'll tell you, oh my goodness. Back in the day, I was a ruddy mess. Life was messy. Life was messy. I had chronic anxiety disorder. I had severe depression. I would have a panic attack waiting for the bus I was 15 minutes early for because I thought I was going to be late. It's not here yet. And I would have a panic attack. Are you okay? No, fine. Just waiting for the bus. Everything's going to be okay. I'm just waiting for the bus. But I knew there was something bigger than my depression. There's something bigger than the fear I had of just existing in my own skin. I had to be willing to see something different in my life. Was I worthy and valuable enough to be in chronic anxiety, to have chronic pain in your body because you're anxious? Or am I worthy of something different? Something that is good? Because we can't get to the great and the grand if we're still worrying about being enough right here in this moment. So the outer life exists in alignment with the truth that is already inside of us. We can find that place within ourselves that is God if we are willing to peek under the rug, to pull back the curtain, to lift up the stones. It's gardening season, so we know if we lift up a stone right now, you're going to see a bunch of scattering. And that is the same in our lives. There's a stone in my life that I have not been willing to pick up. You better believe there is stuff growing underneath there, having a whole universe all in its own, unless you are willing to lift up the stone and watch everything. Just watch everything. Observance. Observing your life and being an active participant. We are truly willing to be an active participant in our life. So that's the true first step, being willing. Are we willing in here?
Yeah.
Yes? Love it. Love it. I am willing. So then we get to the steps, right? If we want to be a jogger, the willingness is to get up early. The willingness is to spend $250 on a pair of sneakers that are going to absorb the weight perfectly. And then you gotta, you prepare yourself. You gotta prepare yourself. And so the next step is finding the right intentions. It is your intentions that are paving the road. It is the intentions that is lifting the rock. And so I was thinking about, as I was working through this process, these steps this week, I was thinking about the old style of radio. Like the big standing ones that have the knobs on them and the big, I always had like this brown, beigey. You need 14 guys to pick that up, right? That's the radio. And that's what we first have. That's what we first have to listen, to tune in. And so there's some big experiences here. Because when we're setting our intentions, we have to first find the right station. So we go to our big radio and we want to tune in. We have to find the right station. So we start playing with the knobs. And we want to be able to send a clear message and receive a clear message. We want to be able to discover enough about ourselves so that we can live from a place where our intentions are always for our highest and greatest good. We want to set a course for personal growth, self-discovery, to live and breathe and have our being in that place where our mind is clear on who we are and we are ready to engage in thinking. Oh, don't think if you aren't supervised and ready to explore, right? You got to know yourself, willing to pick up the rock, willing to recognize it. So we want to find the right station, and so we tune those knobs, and we're and now on the daily news. I don't want to listen to the news. So we have to tune that. We have to find the right station. And intentions is really about having clarity. You need to have a clear intention. You can't just say, I want my life to be better. What does that mean? God is giving you everything you asked for. So if you're thinking, I want my life to be better, it means that there's something going on inside your mind, your consciousness, that is believing God is giving you something you don't want. So we need to be clear in our mind. We need to know who we are. Because every intention we set is a seed that we are planting. Every intention we set. So we need to have clarity on who we are as a unique and unrepeatable expression. The power and the presence within our unique, unrepeatable expression. We want to have a clear picture of what that is. So we have to be tapping into our body. This beautiful tuning fork, this vibrating thing, right? We don't just think with our brain. Our brain is what keeps our body activated so that we can walk and talk and move and digest and all of that stuff. There's something inside of us that is the mind. The mind and the brain, two different things. The brain is functional. The mind is all throughout our entire body. Our stomach has a mind. Our heart has a mind. Our muscles have a mind because they all have memories. They all have experiences. Our stomach lining remembers its wholeness every 24 hours. Our stomach lining renews itself every 24 hours. That's brilliant. I would be like, hey, wake up in there. We got to digest now. That's the brain. The mind. The mind is that thing that is inside of us that is always tuned to the right station. Always expressing itself perfectly. The mind that is within us is already clear on what our values are, what you hold most dear. And the reason that mind is everywhere is because the tuning fork is a frequency. We get to be a frequency in this experience. So we want to make sure that our intentions are in the right frequency so that we can catch the good and the great and the grand in our lives. And the only way we can do that, the only way we can get to that right station is when we know who we are. When we find out more about ourselves. I love contemplating and being in that place of self-discovery. I think I'm the most interesting person on the planet. And what I really, really want, what my deep sense of value is in that, is a sense of connection. Because I want that for you. I want your magnificent self to be the most interesting adventure you will ever take. Discovering who you are, discovering your boundaries, your borders, discovering the lines you have in the sand. These are all beautiful things that you have about you that are absolute magnificence. And everything that you are is intelligently planted. You are an infinite mind, sourced by an infinite source. And so I think you're just as fascinating and as interesting as me, because we are reflections of the same thing, an intelligent presence back of everything. I did not plan the Big Dipper, but an intelligence did. Something placed it there, so that the Big Dipper is, I know where it is always. That's my ability to be aware of the presence that is already there. So when we get to know ourselves, when we make ourselves our soulmate, life can move from good to great. We can move from great to grand. And when we know ourselves, we can move from grand to God. So we've found the right station. It's not Hot 103. Although they are very good, easy listening. It's a station that is grander than anything we could possibly even imagine. It has every possibility, every potentiality. It has every frequency, every tone. It is always playing everything we need. And we get to shape it. Our values shape our life. So if we don't know what we truly value, we're just walking around life bumping into things. You all think it took me 2 steps to get here. It took 3 million steps to get here. 3 million, at least. Every time I got on the bus, I went, I did it. Every time I cracked open a book that challenged me, every time I enter into a conversation with someone that challenges me, I'm taking a step towards my exquisite alignment with my values, with who I am. I get to be that. And I get to give this life all the meaning it has. When our intentions are in harmony with our values, they become powerful catalysts for creating positive change and our own expression of authenticity. The greatest gift you are giving this world is your authentic self, your true natured self. So when we have clarity around our values, when we deeply understand what truly matters to us, that is where we can begin to align our thoughts. I have this technique. Whenever something pops into my head that is out of alignment, I cancel. I just cancel that thought, and I return to whatever it is that is my value. If something, I'm being judgmental, and no, cancel. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Every time, we have that opportunity, we have that freedom to catch ourselves, to make amends right in that moment. I'm so sorry, higher self. I almost fell down there, but I caught myself, and I get up, and I love and accept myself exactly as I am, even though I've got to dust my knees off, fell a little bit. By living with intention, we infuse our purpose and our meaning into our lives, creating powerful and transformative impact, not just on ourselves, but on the world around us. Me showing up as my best self is the best gift I can give all of you. I do all of my work. I am guaranteeing each and every one of you this past week, when I did renovations with my spouse, when I'm managing things in my life, when I'm working through all of my stuff, I guarantee you I'm doing the best that I can for each and every one of you. Because when I leave my house, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be whatever it is that I need to be. Because I know who I am, and I know my values are to be loving presence when I'm with you. So I'm going to do all of my work. I'm going to do it all. And I'm going to align my thoughts. And so how we align it back to this radio station, right? So we found a station, but it's still a little garbly sometimes. Because, the interference. There's distraction. And so aligning our thoughts is tuning in. There's two knobs. There's the one that gets you to the station, and there's the tuning knob that clears the station up for you. Did you know that? Am I talking like old school radios for you guys today? My old TV, same thing. Big, boxy, tube and bulb thing, right? One knob, two channels. What channel? TVO, yeah? Anybody watch TVO growing up? Yeah? Right? So we have these tools. There's these things that we can use. So we can tune in to the frequency that we want. We set the intention with clear, demonstrable expression. We set the intention clearly. Then we tune in. Through conscious awareness and consistent practice, we set intentions that impact our lives. We can change everything by simply being attuned to our highest expression, that which wants to already be made known for you, that which is already set for you. Your path is already beautiful and sacred and whole. And so as we align our thoughts, as we tune in to self-reflection, introspection, we gain awareness, more and more awareness about who we are. The beautiful expression of self-reflection and introspection. What makes you come alive? What brings you elevated? What gets you jazzed? What are you passionate about? What gives your life meaning and purpose? Those are the frequencies you want to tune into. Those are the frequencies. My life is good, but it could be better. Of course it could be better. You're walking around thinking everything's good, when there's something so much better. Knowing who you are, finding out all of these little specks of light that you are, all the things that attract you. Supporting our values is a continuous cycle. Realign. I found more out about myself this week. Realign, readjust. Thought I wanted a red car, I wanted a white one. Readjust. Alignment is a state of being. So allowing your thoughts to be consciously attuned. Not just willy-nilly life. Oh, willy-nilly, disorganized and distracted. But we have the opportunity to be in perfect alignment with our highest and greatest good. And the process begins by understanding and recognizing the intrinsic connection between our values and the choices we make. I don't know about about you, but when I'm out of integrity, if I say I want this, and then I do the opposite, I feel it. Oh, I just feel that wasn't in integrity. And so I know when I'm tuning in to a different frequency that doesn't support where I say I want to be. And that's the practice. We are practicing. Right? This is spiritual practice, not spiritual doneness. Right? And so our values, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, are the guiding principles that shape our thoughts, our beliefs, and ultimately our actions. When we are able to align our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions with our values, we create a powerful energy that permeates all aspects of our lives. Because even though I had a hard work week this week of being awesome, right? I was still able to attune myself, to align myself back into that energy and do good work in the world. Dennis Merritt Jones, in The Art of Living, he said, "To be impeccable in our word is to bring our spoken word and our unspoken intention into alignment so that the inner thought and the outer action are the same." Our thinking is praying without ceasing. There is a universal, intelligent mind that is listening to everything. It is in harmony with itself. If we do not have harmony in our own lives, we are out of alignment. The divine presence is never out of alignment. And so I tighten my threads. I align myself in this tapestry. I bring closer to my being that expression of my inner life and my outer life. To be impeccable with our word is to be bringing our spoken and our unspoken word in alignment so that everything looks the same. If there's peace in here, there's peace out there. Okay, so we've got willingness. We know we need to set good intentions that are in alignment with our values, and then we need to align our thinking with those intentions so that we can get to where we want to go. And so we've got our knob turned. The station is on. It's now clear. Then we need to take action. So we need to turn up the volume and really rock it out. We need to kick it up a notch. Chris Franken, in The Call of Intuition, she said, "Alignment is a vibration, a movement of energy that feels grounded and enlightened and propels you gracefully forward toward your values." So how do we turn up the volume? We get to live our life. We get to live the intention like it's already done. Every prayer you will have ever asked is answered. Every treatment you've ever asked for is answered. Sometimes it looks a little colorful compared to what we thought it was going to be. I asked for black and white and they gave me color. Okay. But the activity of the divine is always happening. And so our action, we have our intentions, we have our willingness, we know our passions and our purpose, and we're ready to go in to kick it into high gear. It becomes a pursuit of living in harmony with our authentic selves. It becomes an adventure. How can I show up even greater today in alignment with my highest self? How can I know and activate this beautiful infinite expression within me to fulfill the nature of spirit within all things, to fulfill it in my life? It is through taking inspired action. If you're feeling inspired to do something, do it. You know, I used to have this thing. I'm quite intuitive. That's how I'll describe it now. And so sometimes I just want to reach out. I get someone in my mind, and I just want to reach out. And for the longest time, I wouldn't. They don't need to hear. They don't want to hear from me. I'm too demonstrative. People, when I'm gushy, lovey about people, sometimes it's a little, oh my goodness, this person really gives a crap about me. I should put the rock back down. Because what my value is unconditional love. I better put a barricade in between me and Steph because she's way too loving. So I'd put down my phone. But I would tell you, my life went from good to grand when I listened to that voice that said, just reach out. So now every single time someone pops into my head, every single time, I'll do something. Even if that something is just going to their Facebook page, send them love like that. Because I believe my faith is they're feeling it. You're all feeling my love, right? Absolutely. So using these beautiful guide points in our life, we can take action to move forward. We can be the activity of the divine because that's exactly what we are. We are a physical space and place where spirit has engaged its own source and substance. We are everything that we need to be right here, right now. Everything that we are. And living from this place of our values, knowing who we are, taking the time to get to know ourselves. It's a beautiful journey. Ernest Holmes, he wrote, "The ultimate goal of life does not mean that we shall ever arrive at a spiritual destination where everything remains static and inactive. Kumbaya, everything is wonderful." He continued, that which to our present understanding seems an ultimate goal will, when attained, be but the starting point for a new and further evolution. A new and further evolution. Every time I get to be in a place where I wanted to be, I learn that there's still more steps to take. There's still more steps to take. That activation is a daily endeavor. We get to be the divine in everything that we do, and activating it in our own lives will only excel and evolve this community as a whole. When each of us are living our best life, when we move from good to great to grand to God, it's benefiting every single one. It's benefiting every single one on the street. It's benefiting all of the streets around us. It's benefiting this entire planet when we are showing up and as the activated source and substance of our unique and unrepeatable expression of divinity. So we don't have to stay static, right? We're going to pick up the stones and we're going to watch all the little squiggly things scurry. And the ones that are left there, those are the ones for us to work on. We don't need to work on all the ones that scattered away from our experience. We just work on the stuff that is for us to be here now. So if that expression is in our mind, then we get to live our best life. If it is in our mind that something that's in our external life is against us, right? There's a lot of people in the world that's us and them, us versus them. And I'm a oneness enthusiast, so I don't have the us and them. There's no competition here. But if there's us and them in our minds, then there's us and them in our experience. So when we let go of the struggle within ourselves, that there is something outside of ourselves that we need to be in control of, that we need to look after, that creates the separation. But when we are at one with ourselves, at one with our values, at one with our peace and our love and our compassion, at one with recognizing with absolute faith that we are enough in our own skin in this moment right now, we are realizing our fullest expression of self, and we are an actualized human being. And so, Bringing this into the community as we activate ourselves, we get to practice in community because we will have challenges with one another. And that's okay. That's okay. We're here to lift up the rocks, get the sandpaper out, dust each other off. That's what we're here to do in community. Ernest Holmes, I'll leave you with this because I've talked a lot today. Because somebody gave me a microphone. Ernest Holmes, he said, compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Compassion is the most gentle of all human virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through all. So, compassion for ourselves, compassion for one another. Let's take every step together, arm in arm and heart in heart. Thank you so much for listening.